So I'm just going to come out and say it. Star Wars Outlaws has become my most anticipated game this year, which I'm slightly shocked by. It being a Ubisoft game. Actually, I do tend to like Ubisoft games, but I would have thought something else piqued my interest. But Ubisoft has provided myself and some other creators about an hour of footage showing what seems to be the opening of the game, plus a couple of other missions showing off the systems of the game. And after going through it, I cannot wait. This game seems to be like one of those dream Star Wars games that I always wanted, that I didn't know I wanted, but alas, Ubisoft is delivering. Now, I do have to say thank you to Ubisoft for the gift of the footage. They have provided it so as part of the Ubisoft Creators Program, and I want to get all those disclosures out of the way. But if you like videos about Star Wars Outlaws, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I can promise you, this will not be the only Star Wars Outlaws content on this channel. There will be a lot more of it, because if the game is as good as it looks, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the preview. The game opens with the player character, Kay Vesh, seemingly crash landing onto the planet. That planet is Toshara. When she does this, you're going to end up meeting a mechanic named Waka, who is being chased by some raiders. You dispatch them really easily, and he agrees to basically work on your crash ship, but you are going to need to go out there and find the parts. Hello, Fetch Quest. Some engine injectors. He gives you the lead of the under lieutenant of the local Pike Syndicate to maybe get you on your way into acquiring the engine parts that are needed. This provides the character an opportunity for you to kind of explore the countryside and head into the city. And the city is the first thing that struck me as just great. The atmosphere felt so Star Wars. It felt lived in. It felt dirty. It feels like a living place, or at least what they're showing. Mind you, and we're going to warn this as I talk through this is the opening hours of a video game. And if there is one section of a game that usually gets way more polish, where ideas are started, but maybe not necessarily finished, that's going to be the beginning. So take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but understand what has been shown, what has been provided, has me just incredibly excited as you walk by like gambling parlors and you get checked in to see if your ID is correct. You give the wrong name, you get a little bit of tension. Like, I'll be honest, I am not usually a big original trilogy fan, but this game, it's doing something special for me. Anyways, you get to the bar, and when you get there, you're immediately presented with different opportunities as to how you're going to get in front of that Pike Syndicate underboss, right? And this is like something that feels constant, where this game is giving a lot of options. You first come into a dude, and he's like, "Hey, I got the hookup. I can bring you up there. Just gotta drop me some credits." And you're like, "Ooh, hold on there, big buddy. Maybe." You're like, I'll hold on to that in the noggin. And then later on, you're like, "Oh, look, there's an access hatch that lets me sneak into the turbo lift that would then allow me to get up there." And I'm hoping that sort of theme is what continues on, because it does seem like the overarching choice in this game is choice. The narrative is very much about choice. We'll have to see if they honor that. But from what I can tell, this game is very much about the choices you make in the Star Wars galaxy, which, yes. Anyways, the gameplay, you choose to sneak into the turbo lift. You meet the new underboss. He basically says, "I don't know you. You don't have enough reputation to be around here. Go do some missions, and then come back to me when you've made a name for yourself." And this gets you introduced to a handler, and she kind of runs you through the factions that are at least in this city, and I assume throughout the whole game. There's going to be 3 of them: the Pikes, who you already know, Crimson Dawn, and the Hutts. And this brings us to the reputation system that is in this game. Like, okay, hi, big theme park fan over here. One of the promises of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was a reputation system that follows you through that. And what Ubisoft has done in this game is deliver a a working reputation system that kind of works. So the reputation, there are 5 levels to it: terrible, bad, poor, which is their neutral setting, good, and excellent. The higher up you get, you're going to get unique rewards. So just like, hey, you got to the best reputation with a specific syndicate, here's a unique outfit or whatever. You get better contract brokers. Contract brokers are the people who give out missions. So I assume that's going to either be specialized missions for those syndicates, and also you get better merchants or access to merchants that deal specific syndicate gear. So you have those 3 syndicates who are sort of always in play, and depending on how you perform missions, if you accept their offers or turn them down, or maybe if you're spotted killing some of their people, the reputation goes up and down. So you're going to have to balance between all 3 of them. So that is the reputation system, which has me like, I cannot wait to try and like be the favorite of all of them, or just completely screw over Crimson Dawn, or maybe make them the best one and screw over the Pikes. Like, there is opportunity there. I am very, very excited for what can come and what will be coming, given this new system. That's the reputation system. This new broker of yours ends up giving you a mission to sneak into the Pike outpost and steal some unspecified information that is being held on the computer. And what follows is just kind of, I'm going to call it run-of-the-mill, but it looks good, third-person stealth gameplay. You got to sneak up on guards. They kind of get localized alerts, and maybe if one of them sees you, one of them can go and call for enemies. You can go and hide in tall grass to kind of not be seen. You are able to use the stun function on your blaster, at least to knock out one of them. Nyx, who I don't think we've mentioned yet, you have this sort of furry axolotl creature that follows you around named Nyx, that you can order around. Nyx does add some depth to the gameplay. You can use Nyx to distract. You can use Nyx to go and like attack one person as you sneak up on another person to attack them, to give you enough time to basically take out the both of them without having to use your blaster. The stealth gameplay, while it doesn't look revolutionary, it looks perfectly usable, serviceable, and something I'll be happily playing hours of in the future. So you get through all of that, and then you find yourself onto the computer, and you initially get like one little piece of information, which is the gimme. It's like a recipe, and your person's like, really, you sent me for a recipe? But then you notice that there is an encrypted file on the computer. So in order to unlock that encrypted cache of information, you have to go through the hacking minigame. And the hacking minigame seems like it's going to be a good time. It feels like it's going to give that compelling like puzzle itch like hacking in Fallout does. Basically, you have 10 icons, and each password, at least so far in this demo, is 3 of those icons long. You put them in, and if they glow gold, that means that icon is used in the password sequence, but not in the correct spot. Or if they glow blue, that means it's in the correct spot. So you have a couple of tries to put in these 10 characters to figure out what order they need to be to unlock the information. And the character ultimately ends up doing that. And that provides what really gets me excited for this game, because basically you come back to the contract giver, and the encrypted information plays in it's compromising information on the Pikes. And the contract giver comes to you, who's from Crimson Dawn, and is like, hey, you're a good thief. I know you're a good thief. Did you get anything else? And it gives you the option to either A, be like, oh, yes, I acquired other information. And if you tell her that, it's going to boost your standing with Crimson Dawn. Or you could just not say anything and just be like, oh, yeah, I'm good at my job. Here's the stupid recipe that you wanted me to steal to begin with. And this is really cool because it turns out the next task that you have to do is basically you need to go and find a pistol upgrade in order to be given your next contract. And from what I can tell, if you had given the information to the Crimson Dawn lady, you would have gotten that pistol upgrade. You would have been able to basically go into the Crimson Dawn territory and get the pistol upgrade for free. But because you didn't do that, you then have to choose whether you're going to sneak into the Crimson Dawn faction area or the Pike faction area to basically rob them of this pistol upgrade. And that is already showing like, hey, there are going to be consequences. There are going to be things you have to do depending on what you've already done in the game that makes you that has somewhat consequences, right? I know Telltale, we had consequences for your actions, but it didn't really ever feel like it because all the railroads led to the same place. And I don't know if that's going to happen in this game, but at least in the open world and the non-trivial stuff, having these branching paths so early makes me incredibly excited. And at this point, I'll just say the rest of the preview shows off more missions, each one having you make decisions like this at the end. If you want to watch through all the preview footage, I do have it basically broken out into 3 videos. You can go ahead and watch that. Just make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you can see all of them. Please and thank you. But moving on, like that is what's that stuff is sort of what sold me. That and the rest of the preview stuff. And like, I know back when it was announced that Ubisoft was going to make an open world Star Wars game, that everyone was like, bounty hunter game, Mandalorian, bounty hunter. And I was like that too, because I will be honest, my first game on the PS2, the game that like sold me was Bounty Hunter, was the Jango Fett Clone Wars tie-in video game. And I loved it. And because of that, I have always loved the idea of bounty hunting. But this game is doing something where it is making the smuggler idea, the rogue, a more appealing playstyle to me. Even when I played the Old Republic, the smuggler never really appealed to me. I always ended up playing the trooper or the bounty hunter, depending on which side of that MMO I was on. And the smuggler just wasn't there for me. This is making me excited to live that Star Wars fantasy of the smuggler, right? I think some people were disappointed when it wasn't like a Han Solo game. I'm glad it's not a Han Solo game. I think KVS is great. It's giving an opportunity to get in there. I am like 99% sure now that this is going to be a game that my wife forces me to play out in the main room on the big screen because she's going to want to watch. And if you can get spouse approval factor on a video game, that is always a good thing. So I think Ubisoft is doing incredibly well with this. Some of the other sort of features of the world, there is a new version of Sabacc. Some of the other features that are shown off in the preview of the world is, first off, there is Sabacc. It is not either of the versions of Sabacc that you've been able to play before or that you could buy before. There's standard Sabacc, which has one rule set. There is Corellian Shift, which was exclusive to the Star Cruiser at Disney, with a different set of rules. This is Kessel Sabacc, which has another different set of rules. I am appreciating that basically every single time people are making up rules for Sabacc, it's a whole new game. It's not being consistent, and I'm enjoying learning these new variants. Kessel Sabacc, it seems like the main goal will be to find a pair, and the lowest pair wins. It's interesting. I still think I prefer Corellian Shift, but I'm excited. Other stuff that they showed off, eavesdropping on conversations to then unlock things in the world. They show off a little section where basically you're at a bar and you overhear someone being like, "Oh yeah, if you want some illegal weapons, go tell you're a friend of Mubo or whatever it is to this vendor, and he'll bring you into the back and let you buy some unique things." Which, okay, cool, black market access, or like just being able to pick up other missions through listening in if you want to take the game slower. I'm here for that. The final thing, which I'm sure this was, like a requirement, is there is a bunch of animals out and about in the world. You can pet them. You can pet the animals, guys. Come on, how could you not like it? So those are everything good. I don't want to leave this with a just positives on this. I do want to talk about some of the downsides. I will say that the space combat shown off in it doesn't feel very great, or it doesn't look like it's going to feel very great. And admittedly, I will be totally honest here. This is coming from someone who played hours of Battlefront 2, and in order to win those space combat games, you just kind of hopped in a bomber and flew the same line. So, my expectations are a bit weird, but the thing that kind of threw me off is the ship is you're basically able to come to a complete stop in the ship, which, like, that makes sense. You're in space. You can come to a stop. Like, that all checks out. It's just that the way that space combat feels like it's been portrayed in Star Wars is always more of that World War II, and as a result, it has always seemed that you always need some sort of forward momentum in order to keep the ship up. Which that's not true. That's not how reality works. But it felt like that was sort of the way that reality worked in a galaxy far, far away. The other thing that I kind of mentioned before, we're gonna just have to wait and see how these choices pan out. If we really are going to have Spider Branch and then all coming back to one point, which I kind of do expect with the main quest, because that's sort of how the main quest has to work. But if ultimately what needs to happen is you basically only need to be in good graces of like one of the syndicates in order for your main quest to be successful, and therefore there are multiple paths to ultimately taking out the main quest, I'm here for it. I am here for it. We will just have, like I said, to wait and see. And guys, that is Star Wars Outlaws. That is the preview I saw. Like I said, I am incredibly, incredibly excited for this game. It is by far my most anticipated game this year, and I cannot wait to play it. So, guys, if you like videos like this, like I said before, there's definitely going to be more Star Wars Outlaw content on this channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.